Welcome back to Solomon's Porch with your host Jason
and Sean.
How you doing, Sean?
Sean.
Good to see you, sir.
Sean.
Good to see you,
Sean.
It's been a while, man.
It has. Isn't there a song?
Isn't there?
Yeah, been a while.
Actually, there is a song.
Yeah, been a while. Yeah.
It's been a while. That's right.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
so I'm trying to tweak the audio as we're recording. So
okay. So you're a little bit preoccupied over there.
A little bit.
It has been a while. We've had some life changes going on, and that's kind of put us behind a little bit. But we are back. We've had lots of folks asking, and so we appreciate that. Thank you for sticking with us and letting us know that you guys care. It was I was touched. Not really, but thanks anyway, though. Just the same. I think Jason was overwhelmed by your outpouring of
absolutely. So yeah, man. So let's jump into it. I think I got my audio somewhat situated. I got to get a new cord and some stuff. So anyway, before we start the show this week, we do want to thank True Strength Apparel. Aaron Simkins at TrueStrengthApparel.com for being a great, awesome supporter of the show for a very long time. Check them out, TrueStrengthApparel.com. Also, we have an official sponsor this week. It is Eternal. So the Messenger is the latest project from Eternal. That's ETURNUL, released in celebration of Mr. Big Stuff's 50th anniversary with Carlajo Music. Sorry, I probably mispronounced that. I'm pretty sure I mispronounced that. The vibrant, inspirational lyricist featured Angelique Jonelle and DJ Matt Cummings, the turntable minister on the single, with the trio combining and music produced with Steve OG and Steve Vicious as they celebrate one of the biggest hits in the history of American music, set out to inspire the world, igniting love, dance, fun, and hip-hop 80s vibes. So y'all check out Eternal. We're going to have his link and stuff on our website, so you can just go to SolomonSports.com or Solomon Sports Podcast. SolomonSportsPodcast.com. It's been a really long time since we've done this show.
Wow, that's rough.
But anyway, man, so shout out to Eternal for supporting the show.
So it's produced by Steve-O?
I guess so.
G.
I don't know G, but yeah.
No, I was saying G, as in like golly.
Steve OG. Yeah, OG.
Steve-O.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So there's been a lot of stuff that has happened since our last recording, which has been like 2 months ago at least. So a lot, like you said, a lot of life changes. You know, my family moved. I got a new job. Went to my first con, GalaxyCon. So Comic-Con, if anybody thinks,
convention.
Yeah. So yeah, man, it was very exciting and fun. Sean invited me to go, and yeah, man. So we went to GalaxyCon. There was a lot of different people there. Probably the most popular was Ashley Eckstein.
Yeah, well, or Stephen Amell.
Yeah, Stephen Amell. That's right. So
yeah,
if you watch Green Arrow, the main character that played Oliver Queen.
However, one of the actresses from Once, the TV show Once, had a huge line. So she was pretty popular there too. So
okay,
but yeah, my daughter wanted Ashley Eckstein's autograph and photo, as well as obviously Steven's, because she's a huge Arrow fan.
Yeah.
So, waited in line for Ashley's for 93 hours or something like that. That's what Hector said. So over at Faith and Fandom. So a little plug there. Check out Hector over at Faith and Fandom.
Yeah, man. I really enjoyed seeing
He had a panel
and seeing different Christians and non-Christians, and which I would assume there was non-Christians there. I think there were, but just seeing there being a Christian presence that I feel like properly represents the Christian faith at a convention like that is phenomenal.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It's great to be able to sit there and experience that. And so we had him on the show once before. I'd love to get him back on again. And just seeing what he could add to that world, it definitely is a light in a dark place, salt in the world. All those great things that Christians should be is what Hector Moray is. So Hector, we love you, bro. Thank you for what you do. and being an inspiration to myself as well. Even though I'm not doing what he's doing, I can at least be a light in a dark workplace or wherever I'm at. So,
well, and something that I didn't ever realize that took place at conventions, because I guess I just never paid attention, is that there are protesters. There are Christian protesters. That was air quotes for those of you that are only listening to the podcast. I mean, I'm not really judging them on whether or not that they're Christians, but they're maybe not really behaving like Christians out there protesting conventions, telling people that they're going to hell and stuff like that. There's a lot of folks that are just desperate for community and are hurting, and they get into things where there are communities, and telling them that they're going to hell outside of a convention where they should feel safe and feel like they're able to commune with other people of similar interests. That's just not really the best opportunity to be able to tell them that they're going to hell. Duh. Anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, and the next day, that Sunday morning, he had geek church. So we had church. Presents the gospel, but obviously he probably uses a lot of geeky things to get the message across, which again, I think is phenomenal and a great way to be able to share the gospel in that venue. And for them to allow him to do that is incredible too. So yeah, man, shout out to Hector. As far as my personal experience, I thought it was cool to see so many different people of ages and ethnic backgrounds cosplaying. I bought a Captain America helmet and a Mjolnir, and I had two different people reference me as cosplaying as Captain America, and so I just bought them there. I didn't really wear anything special to the place, and I also had several people give me kudos on my Stronger Things t-shirt, which came from True Strength Apparel, which is a play on Stranger Things. It's got the same font, but Stronger Things. So that was pretty cool to be able to rep that. So yeah, man. Sean, thank you for taking me to my first con, bro.
Sure, yeah, no worries.
Yeah,
I'm just glad you didn't have to wait 93 hours for an autograph. So
me too. I did pay twice to leave the building though. So
for parking, yeah.
Yeah, that was a failure there. But anyway, so let's move on to some news, man.
So this isn't like super new news, but there's some updated information, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cover it all.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson, you may have heard, is suing Disney because of their release of Black Widow to D+, and that she didn't get any profits from the D+ proceeds, and that there is a huge amount of proceeds that she's missed out on.
Yeah.
And I don't know the details of her contract, but Disney, they've come out recently again to say definitively she ain't got a leg to stand on. Sorry, lady. Really low blow in my opinion. Disney's been known to kind of do sort of underhanded things, but so is pretty much any large company and corporation.
Yeah.
That's how they usually get to be so large. They buy out somebody else. They make contracts that are only profitable for them. And I hate that for her. I really do. Clearly, she's not going to be coming back to Disney to do anything.
I thought that was already. I kind of thought that was already a thing anyway.
But I mean, like anything Disney associated, because Disney owns lots of other entities.
Disney. Okay, not just MCU.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so, I mean, and we've kind of talked about this before on the show. The way the contract works is apparently in her contract it was stipulated that she would get a certain percentage of the opening day sales in theaters, and if it's on Disney Plus, not a whole lot of people, not the same amount of people are going to go to the theater, so those box office numbers goes down, right. Our paycheck goes down. But what was Disney? I mean, honestly, what was Disney to do? They tried to renegotiate the contract, and they couldn't get it renegotiated, so they went ahead and pulled the trigger to release it simultaneously. I mean, I don't know. Like, honestly, if I had to pick a side, I wouldn't know whose side to pick, because like. I mean, it's like, they both kind of lose. I mean, because Disney loses money, Scarlett Johansson loses money.
I would say this though, between the two, Disney's got it to lose though.
They do. They could fork over extra, and I don't know. Obviously nobody knows what the renegotiation for the contract was or would be. I do know that as soon as COVID became an issue, all the new contracts they started doing started including like the video on demand as kind of part of that. And I think because hers was like right there, like the first case, it just didn't work out too well.
Yeah.
So anyway,
someone who has no problem with their contract with Disney is Emma Stone. She signed on for Cruella 2. I personally loved Cruella. I thought it was a great film. It was the first one that I saw coming.
Maybe your Bluetooth died.
Oh, my Bluetooth probably did die. So I'm getting audio through my phone, and it's really annoying.
Okay.
And kind of feedbacky. Sorry about that, y'all. But anyway, so it was a great movie to come back into the theaters with. And so I'm glad to see that there's a second film. They kind of left it such that they could do a second. So that was pretty cool. Also, in terms of casting, we have Tamara Morrison, who is casted as Cody, not Coder. Sorry, that's the Southern.
I thought you said that on purpose wrong. I was like
Commander Coder, Cody. Anyway, in the Obi-Wan series. So, real cool to see that he's going to be in the series. It's one of the things that I love about Star Wars is that they love to keep pulling actors back in, even if it's like for small parts or whatever. They just keep recycling them, and it's part of the family thing of it all. So
yeah, man. And honestly, dude, all the different roles that he plays, or all the different roles as a clone, I just really hope they're paying him for each individual role separately. Like, I mean, that's like a lot of contracts. And so, I mean, I'm sure he's got it worked out well, but, because he plays all the different clones, technically. I mean, so, yeah. But anyway, so Shang Chi, that's coming out September 8th. And so that is like what, 3 weeks? Like 3 weeks away. So that's going to be good to see. It's on a Wednesday.
September 3rd.
September 3rd. Okay, I was going to say that's strange. I thought somebody said 8th. Yeah, so a Friday, that's better. So September 3rd, that's even closer than I thought. And I don't know, man. I think it's going to be great. I mean, seeing this level of kung fu in a film, I hadn't seen it in a while. And the last kung fu movie I watched was Kung Fu Hustle, which isn't like, anything related to Shang-Chi, but it's still going to be cool to see that. So I'm excited. Loki finale. So real quick, what were your thoughts general for the finale of Loki?
Are we certain that everybody can still hear me? Because I don't see the video anymore.
Yeah, I got your video.
Oh, you got my video?
Yeah, I mean, I see it. I see your video.
Oh, wow. Okay, because my video shows black.
Yeah.
That's weird. Black. Speaking of Loki, no. I mean, it's dark. I did like that about it. I think that, it definitely leaves us the opportunity for being able to have more to go into second series if we wanted to, and they are doing that, aren't they? Didn't they already announce that they're going to do a second series?
Yeah.
So
that contract's good.
Yeah, there's another good contract. But I think that they finally had hit their groove there for what it is that they had always wanted to do with the Disney Plus series and Marvel tie-in stuff, and being able to explore some of the more obscure elements within the universe without it being a messy movie. And I'm going to get to that in another news item that we've got a little bit further down the line. But overall, I really dug it. As far as any specifics about the finale, dude, that was like a month ago, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I was disappointed with the WandaVision finale. I did like Falcon and Winter Soldier finale, and Loki was just really slow. The finale was.
Sure.
The show itself was great. I think that's, like you said, that's kind of what Disney was trying to get together. Those type of things for us, for the viewers, is kind of they can dive in deeper to characters that have been side characters this whole time. When we think about it, Wanda, side character, Vision, side character, Falcon, Winter Soldier, Loki, like these have all been kind of side characters. So to get a full show has been really cool. And but for this one, the one thing I will say that I thought was great was the fact that I know a lot of people like surprises, but I love the fact that they brought in Kang a good portion of that last episode.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a little, there might be, or, like it was like they knew what people would expect and they gave people that, which to me is great. Like they didn't do that in WandaVision, which was disappointing. And Falcon and Winter Soldier, I feel like they did, with obviously with the special agent, and then with who was Zemo. They brought in Zemo, which they told us they would. So they did a little bit with that, but I feel like Loki did a better job than WandaVision. So, but yeah. So next we have Doctor Strange, and so Sean's gonna step away for a second. But so with Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, there's been a leaked kind of video footage of Doctor Strange outside of his Sanctum Sanctorum. I think that's what it's called, Sanctum Sanctorum. And so Spider-Man is walking out. He's looking in front of the building, trying to figure out where he's going. So we know a lot of people are thinking that, it's going to be Doctor Strange offering Peter Parker a place to crash while they're on a look for him, while they're trying to figure out what's going on. A lot of the Spider-Man outfits that we see kind of leaked has different magical things on them. So a lot of people are looking at that like, oh, well, maybe Doctor Strange is going to infuse some magic into his suit somehow. And so that'll be kind of interesting to see that too. So there's a lot of things that it could be going on. And so I'm interested to see what the film, or how much Doctor Strange is in the film. It might be kind of similar to the Thor Ragnarok movie. So, you might not want to expect a whole lot. I'm still anxious though. So moving on to a less exciting movie. And honestly, I really didn't know how to go into this film. And just because like the first one was like just okay. But when I heard James Gunn was doing it, I got kind of excited. But I'll be honest, man, I still haven't watched the last 20 minutes. So
The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad.
Well,
yeah.
I was on vacation when the movie actually came out, and so my daughter and I decided that we were going to wait to watch it till we got back, and we were going to watch it in theaters local here to us, and we were hopping to different comic book shops because that's what we do. Anyway, so we're in one, and of course this guy's just like super cool. He's just like, dude, have you seen it? Want to make sure I don't give any spoilers or anything. And I was like, nah, we're waiting, whatever. He's just like, man, this is the movie. He said this movie is exactly what all DC fans have been waiting for. And I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. This guy runs a fairly large and semi-prestigious comic book shop. So I'm like, oh, okay, wow, that's saying something. And also, while we were out, we stopped off and saw some family who basically said the exact same thing, but even went so far as to say it was better than Dark Knight. Now,
that's just completely wrong. Like there's an objective.
Now,
just about that.
I would say that between Dark Knight and Snyder Cut, those are probably about tie for me in terms of DC films.
Right.
So you're really kind of going pretty far if you're saying that this movie has matched that level. And so me and my daughter were pretty excited. We go and we sit down and we watch it. Now, I was skeptical anyway because of the cast, the characters. that James Gunn was pulling out for this. Polka Dot Man just is not an exciting character. Not that Captain Boomerang was all that in the first one either, but
He was better in this one, actually.
he was better in this film.
Wait, are we doing spoilers or no?
Oh, yeah, it's always a spoiler.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It's our show. There's always spoilers.
So I mean, I haven't seen the last 20 minutes, so
if you haven't watched it, then don't pay attention to this part. Dude, Harley Quinn was probably the best Harley Quinn that we've had out of the movies that she's been in so far. That is probably the one thing that I could say that was a absolute positive about the film.
She wasn't really in it that long, though.
But what parts she was in it, there's this whole part where she's inside the house and she's got this epic fight scene, and it was phenomenal.
I can't even say I remember that fight scene.
Well, maybe you hadn't watched that part of it, so you hadn't gotten to it, maybe. But anyway, there's this epic fight scene. It's within the last part of the film, and she's amazing in it. And that's the level of Harley Quinn that I would have expected in everything else that we've seen so far. So in that, yes, it was great. In that, James Gunn did the film that he said he wanted to do, and he was pleased with it. He doesn't feel like there needs to be a Snyder cut or anything else like that. They gave him full latitude to do exactly what he wanted to do. That's fantastic, and I applaud them for that. But I'm gonna say this film to me is like that one run of your favorite comic book character that you're like, I don't really care for the artwork in it, or I don't really care for the writing in it. Yeah, it's still Batman, and I still love Batman, but I don't really care for the writing in this particular storyline in this run. That's what this movie is to me. I think that he did what he did well, but I just didn't care for it. Truly, my all-time biggest critique, and it's been sort of a problem in DC films lately, the bad guy. The bad guy is a freaking giant starfish that does what? Spits out little tiny starfish out of its armpits. What? This is the lamest freaking bad guy that you can have. Now, don't get me wrong. The ultimate bad guy is always
Amanda Waller.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
Always. There's no doubt. But they're not physically fighting Amanda Waller. She gets punched out at the end, which you haven't seen yet. Sorry about that. but dude, Starro? Really? Come on,
Even in the comics, anytime I see Starro, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be so lame.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip these issues because Starro, whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just so bad. I'm sorry. They had an excellent opportunity to do something really super cool, and they really missed out on it.
You're like Harley Quinn.
And then the inappropriateness, the stuff that they didn't really need to have in there.
Yeah, that's what got me. I was like, you don't really need the whole beach scene language that they kind of let. They gave that out early, and as soon as I saw that,
the discussion of the beach full of
I was like,
a beach full of
man,
phallus.
I just knew as soon as I saw that, I was like, I can tell the language and the talk of the film is not going to be pleasant for me, just because it's very unnecessary and it's just not comical. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe my comedy is different from others. I mean,
well, and what it is that it's going to a taboo kind of place to be able to push some buttons, and that's really the only purpose that it serves. I'm sitting there with my now 18-year-old daughter, so thankfully, it's not as though she's unaware of things. But there's a particular scene where they're shooting up this village full of rebels, and this one guy gets shot and he's thrown back in the air, and he's wearing absolutely nothing below the belt, so his bat wang goes flying through the air. You know, you can make the argument that we see lots of TNA in movies from the female side of things, and I totally agree that that's just as inappropriate, and there's a little bit of that in this movie as well. But where they could have had a more equivalent version, they certainly didn't take that opportunity. So why do I need to see this guy's junk flying through the air? I just don't understand this. Why do I need to have a discussion about guys eating junk off the beach? It doesn't make any sense. It's moronic. It dumbs down the movie. It downplays what could have been a far better film. And it just tinges the whole story, to be honest with you.
This is the thing I could see Disney saying, okay, James, we made the right call whenever we fired you from the get-go. Now, what they fired him from the get-go, you know, he said it was joking and he apologized and it was like 10 years ago, yada, yada, yada. But this particular film, I'm just like, I'm starting to... I don't know if he was joking. Like, I think this dude's just got some mentally instability going on, and you know, he incorporates some of that into films. I mean, Brightburn wasn't like terrible. I thought Brightburn was interesting.
But wasn't that M. Night Shyamalan?
I thought it was James Gunn. I don't know, but I thought it was him. But I'm just saying, like, this film to me, we just could have done it without. I mean, it's almost like, you know, should have got Tom Green in it. You know, Freddie got fingered, that kind of a whole ordeal. So,
it was written by Gunn brothers, Brian and Mark, and then directed by David Yarowski.
Okay.
But was produced by James. So
gotcha. Okay. Well,
anyway,
so let's move on to some.
No. Sorry, John Cena. Really? Daddy's Home. I admit that his acting has gotten a lot better. He's still a moron, and I don't need to see him in his whitey tighties from a wide angle, low angle, and just like constant long just scenes of this man, and he's just not good. You may be a wrestling fan, and that's fine. He is no actor. There are plenty of other folks that can make that transition over. He just hasn't proven to be one of them. And frankly, ever since he did the Mountain Dew commercial, he's been played out anyway. So, oh my gosh, John Cena, retire him. Stop putting him in stuff. All right, now we can move on. So, wanted to share with you guys a company that I had come across, and wanted to give them a little bit of a shout out. They're called Disciple Threads, and they have some really cool t-shirts, some other miscellaneous apparel as well, and it's all kind of really neat, edgy, so rock, alternative kind of thing, punk sort of feel. Some of it's just, I don't know, it's cool. There's one called the Rescue Tee, and it's, I mean, it doesn't feel particularly rock and roll, but it's got a really cool look to it. But anyway, go check them out. That's disciplethreads.co is the website, disciplethreads.co. And check out their merch. You know, lots of folks are going back to school, that sort of thing, and so this would be a really nice gift to give to somebody that's going to college or into high school. Could be a ministry opportunity. So
yeah, man, looks pretty cool. I like the Death Cannot Hold You shirt.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. So real quick, this isn't like new news, but it was when I first put it in the notes. But so TD Jakes is going to P. Diddy's Revolt TV network to bring some inspiration, and I think everybody, you know, is kind of expecting the same thing. And I feel like it's going to be like positive, motivational speaking TV, not necessarily like biblical theology being spread. And I don't, hold one opinion or another over TD Jakes in general as far as his preaching and stuff. I think he's a great preacher. I don't necessarily learn from him when he preaches necessarily, but I enjoy hearing him preach sometimes. I hope that makes sense. But
well, I would say like Billy Graham didn't. He only preached really one sermon ever. And
right.
but that was his job. That's what he did. And so it was a salvation story, salvation.
Yeah.
And there's a place for that. So I've never learned from Billy Graham, but I will say I still loved hearing him preach.
Yeah. So anyway, man, so that's kind of all I had for that. So let's move on to some music news.
Dude, lots of music news. I'm gonna try to push through this stuff a little bit faster because we're like long. Switchfoot has a new video for their track The Bones of Us. Their new album Interrobang is dropping this week, I think. And so by the time that you've heard this, it's probably already out. But check it out. They've got it in vinyl as well as all other platforms, and they're touring. Skillet has their Aftermath tour. Tickets are on sale. Project 86, the final chapter, is they're trying to do some fundraising. So this is going to be their last hoorah. So their last album, it's going to be their last concert, their last everything, supposedly at least. Part of what's cool for their fundraising is that they're I'd say that they're giving it away in exchange for financial support. Some of their one of a kind memorabilia, so like some original copies of videos or things like that, some old school stuff that they've had laying around that you can't find anymore, or things that never made it out to the public that were like test pressings or something like that. So some really neat stuff there. Love and Death has a video for Let Me Love You. What were your thoughts on that?
I didn't see the whole video, actually. I started watching it and I didn't complete it, but I didn't realize that song was a cover.
So
I heard that like the next day after seeing the video, I was in somewhere in the mall, one of the stores in the mall, and it was the older version was playing over the the speaker system, and someone was singing it, and I was like, hold on, wait. And it clicked, and I was like, I'll be dagged on. Another one. Like, I feel like every Christian band does some type of a cover for a secular song.
So was that for DJ Snake and Justin Bieber?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, I'm not familiar with the song, so except for that that they did it. But yeah, it looks like it's DJ Snake and Justin Bieber.
Gotcha.
I think the video is a lot more edgy than what I would have preferred that they come out with. It doesn't scream as Christ-like, I guess.
Well, I mean, that's just not who they are. Love and Death isn't that shout Jesus from music videos or from music.
Well, no, but it still went a little further than I would have preferred
gotcha. Okay.
for being that's supposed to be their stance.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I hadn't watched the whole thing, but
anyway, so moving along, August Burns Red and Fit for a King teamed up to do song swap. Fit for a King and the band did one as well previously. I'm hoping it's going to come to me before we get further. But anyway, so they did Guardians of the Path is the name of the EP. You have the songs Defender, God of Fire, Provision, and When Everything Means Nothing. I didn't care for it that much. Did you listen to the whole EP?
Mm-mm.
No. I played a little bit of that version of God of Fire for you.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And it was, I not to take anything away from Jake Lures because he does the the vocals on God of Fire. It's a Fit for a King song, and it's one of my favorite Fit for a King songs. And it didn't really do anything for me. So anyway, moving along, Letter Black dropped their new album. It's a self-titled album. I listened to it. Did you have any thoughts on it?
I listened to a few songs the other day. I was actually on the way to work, and I just happened to see it pop up on my Apple Music new releases. And from what I heard, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. So.
I would say if you like Skillet, if you like Ledger, this is definitely an album you should check out. Under Oath, do what?
Yeah, so Under Oath releases a song. Now, just a tiny bit of language here. It's called Damn Excuses is the name of the song. And in the song, they say the F word, your revelations and convictions. So they say F your revelations and convictions. I thought it was interesting. I've heard that Under Oath and a couple of other, known to be Christian bands have kind of definitely strayed away from that. Not saying they're not Christians anymore, but I think in Christian music in general, there's this let's try to purposely get away from the Christian term. Let's, and even a lot of Christian hip hop doesn't we're not, a lot of people just say we're not Christian. We're Christ followers. Okay. I understand. I actually heard Kevin Young from Disciple say that at a concert, and I was like, what? He said, I don't tell people we're a Christian band. I say we're followers of Christ. I say we're disciples of Christ. And I'm like, oh, okay. And as a kid, that confused me. As an adult, I understand that. And I think sometimes my problem when you do that is it makes it sound like you're saying everybody in the church sucks. Like Christians suck. And I don't want to be associated with Christians, even though we're all one body of believers. So I'm not really down with that whole thing. But that's just me personally. I believe you can still be saved and sanctified and feel that way. But anyway, so Under Oath, so I was kind of looking on their Facebook page just to see if, what I found up there. And on March 19th on the Facebook page, it actually said, yesterday we received, and we didn't share this news specifically at that time, but it said, yesterday we received news that shook us. Our friend and founding Under Oath member, Corey Stager, died suddenly this week. He was an uncommonly caring person. He was constantly striving to be a better version of himself, not just for himself, but to be the best example of God's love to his wife and 2 children, who he loved more than anything. We could not be who we are without him, period. Our thoughts and prayers with his family. Godspeed, Corey. And so, I was like, well, I mean, it kind of sounds like, at least whoever wrote this, recognizes the Christian foundation of the band. So I don't know, man. I don't know. A lot of people in the comments were really, really ripping Under Oath, and there was a couple other bands, and I don't know, man. I kind of shared my thoughts, so yeah, it is what it is.
Well, and I think it goes back to where we are as a society, that what have been taboo or inappropriate language is becoming far more commonplace. And so it's finding its way into Christendom as well.
Yeah.
And so whether they consider themselves a Christian band or not, or just a band with faith, or some people with faith, or whatever, however, I hate all the labels myself too, because it gets messy. But at the same time, you just gotta listen to stuff and see if it's suitable for you.
Yeah.
If you're okay with the message that they're communicating in that track, and what are they saying? Are they using it as an example? Is this coming from somebody else, a non-believer perspective? I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so just try to use your own.
Yeah. So last bit of news I had was Rare Breed drops a new single and video for a song called One Day. And he's still rocking the God twang. He's still rocking it, man. He's killing it. I feel like he is being very original in Christian music with this.
He's being true to himself.
He's being very true to himself. And I mean, if you had to compare it to anybody, I'd say Yellow Wolf would be the only comparison in secular hip hop. Well, I guess Colt Ford or Colt, whoever that dude is, and a couple of guys he had on his album. But in my opinion, like, no one does it better than Rare. I just feel like he knocks it out of the park every time. One of the best best rappers that I know. And he has his own business, so that's really cool too. So anyway, go check that out. It's a rare of breed one day. So go check that out. So yeah, man, that's it for the news for us. We're going to be back soon to be sharing our top Bible study tips. So if you're on YouTube, make sure you go check for that video, and we'll be back soon.